Mathys Tell's long-term future at Tottenham Hotspur has reportedly been thrown into doubt, with the French forward said to be weighing up his options amid concerns over a lack of consistent first-team football. Tottenham Hotspur are continuing their efforts to sign Brighton centre-back Jan-Paul van Hecke after their initial approach for the Dutch defender was turned down by the Seagulls. Tottenham Hotspur have emerged as potential suitors for West Ham United winger Crescencio Summerville, with Roberto De Zerbi continuing his efforts to strengthen and reshape the squad ahead of the upcoming campaign. And a report claims that Tottenham have been reportedly linked and offered the chance to sign Juventus forward Jonathan David this summer, although securing the Canadian striker could come at a considerable cost for the North London club. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Craig and here are your daily Tottenham news headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube and are not already as yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Like, share and comment below. And if you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. And please make sure you turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever we go live or upload a video to the channel. Okay, let's get into it. Tottenham Hotspur forward Mathys Tell is reportedly considering his future at the club after growing frustrated with a lack of regular first-team opportunities, according to reports from Give Me Sport. The French youngster only joined Spurs permanently from Bayern Munich last summer, following a successful loan campaign, but his long-term future in North London is already being questioned. This report claims that Tell is keen to secure more consistent playing time and is open to leaving the club during the transfer window. Interest is said to be building across Europe, with Portuguese giants FC Porto emerging as the frontrunners for his signature. Porto are believed to view the 20-year-old as a key addition and could offer him the regular football he feels he's currently missing. Tell's frustrations stem from a season in which opportunities have been limited, despite Tottenham's decision to invest around £30 million to make his move permanent. The forward has found himself on the fringes at times and is understood to be concerned about the impact that reduced playing time could have on his international ambitions with France. While Tottenham are not actively looking to sell and still regard Tell as a player with significant long-term potential, the situation could develop quickly if the player pushes for an exit. But according to journalist João van Boysen, Premier League side Bournemouth have already opened talks to secure Tell's signature ahead of the summer transfer window. The journalist claims that Tell wants to leave Spurs, with a loan and an option to buy the most likely solution. Tottenham Hotspur have stepped up their pursuit of Brighton defender Jan-Paul van Hecke after seeing an opening offer rejected by the South Coast club, according to reports from Team Talk. The Netherlands international has emerged as one of Roberto De Zerbi's top defensive targets this summer, with the Italian keen to reunite with a player he worked closely with during his spell in charge of Brighton. Spurs' initial bid is understood to have fallen short of Brighton's valuation, but negotiations between the two clubs remain ongoing. Van Hecke, 25, is entering the final year of his contract at Brighton and has attracted interest from several Premier League rivals, including Liverpool, Chelsea and Newcastle. Brighton are believed to value the centre-back at around £70 million, reflecting his importance to the team after another impressive campaign in which he was a regular starter. Team Talk reports that Tottenham are preparing an improved second offer as they look to make Van Hecke their fourth signing of the summer. The move forms part of a wider squad rebuild under De Zerbi, who has already overseen efforts to strengthen key areas following Spurs' difficult 2025-26 season. The Dutch defender is viewed as a perfect fit for the head coach's possession-based style and could become a cornerstone of a revamped back line in North London. Team Talk report that Tottenham Hotspur are reportedly weighing up a move for West Ham United winger Crescencio Summerville as Roberto De Zerbi continues to reshape his squad ahead of next season. The Dutch attacker has emerged as a potential target for the North London club, with Spurs believed to be closely monitoring his situation. Summerville, just 24, enjoyed a standout spell at Leeds before joining West Ham and has since shown flashes of the form that made him one of the Championship's most exciting and attacking players. His pace, dribbling ability and versatility across the forward line are understood to have caught the attention of Tottenham's recruitment team. Competition for the winger's signature could be fierce, however, with several clubs across Europe also credited with an interest. Recent reports have linked both AC Milan and Aston Villa with the West Ham star, potentially setting up a transfer battle if Spurs decide to formalise their interest. While no agreement has yet been reached, Tottenham are said to view Summerville as a player capable of adding creativity and depth to their attacking options. With De Zerbi keen to strengthen multiple areas of his squad this summer, the West Ham winger remains one of several names under consideration as Spurs look to build a team capable of challenging higher up the Premier League table. A Football 365 report that Tottenham Hotspur have been presented with an opportunity to sign Juventus striker Jonathan David this summer, but any deal could require the North London club to make a significant sacrifice. Reports in Italy suggest the Serie A giants are willing to discuss the Canadian international's future, though only as part of a swap arrangement involving two Spurs players. David, who joined Juventus from Lille in 2025 and has established himself as one of Europe's most prolific forwards in recent years, remains a player admired by Spurs. The 26-year-old has long been linked with a move to the Premier League, and Spurs are believed to be among several clubs monitoring his situation. According to the report, Juventus would ideally like to receive goalkeeper Guillermo Vicario and left-back Destiny Udogie in exchange for David. The Italian club are said to be keen on strengthening multiple areas of their squad and view the Tottenham pair as attractive targets. While the proposal is unlikely to appeal to Spurs, the report highlights the continued interest in David and suggests discussions could develop further during the transfer window. Tottenham's need for additional firepower in attack means the striker is likely to remain on their radar as they assess their options ahead of next season. Okay, here's my thoughts on those stories today. Firstly, about Mathys possibly leaving and wanting out of Spurs. We did a live stream on Thursday evening actually discussing which players we would personally want to keep, sell or loan. And Tell was obviously one of those players, and we was discussing what we all thought of him and how his future lays. And it's a funny one with Tell because he seems to me, certainly during that last period of the season, he says he's not getting much game time, but obviously he did towards the end of the season. But that was probably, you have to ask, was that out of necessity rather than being first choice? I know that sounds harsh, but it is what it is. For me, Mathys, I've never been 100% sure of him, but certainly during those last games, he was really the only player that was willing to run at defenders and take players on and actually progress us forward up the pitch. I think he played a key role in actually keeping us in the Premier League last season. He's certainly got passion. I just question his final ball sometimes in his decision making, but there is a player in there. There really is a player in there. So for me, I'd certainly want to keep Tell. I wouldn't want to sell him. But do you keep him but give him a loan, but with no obligation to buy? So you see how he goes next season sort of thing. That's kind of where I sit with Tell. I'd like to keep him at the club, but whether he gets a loan, perhaps, I don't know. But there's obviously interest in Mathys Tell. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on Mathys Tell? Should we keep him around next season? Do you think Roberto De Zerbi will want to keep him around next season? More importantly, because we have to go with what the manager wants. Secondly, the Van Hecke deal, first bid was rejected, so Spurs expected to go back in for Van Hecke. I've seen a lot of people questioning this. I think he's a solid Premier League proven defender who, again, De Zerbi clearly wants and he's worked with before. He loves the player. What I would question is if we get Van Hecke in, obviously you got Senesi, looks like we got Senesi already, we're going to have a glut of centre-backs. So somebody's got to go. You think Romero's going to be out the door anyway. Rumours Van der Ven could be signing a new deal. I think Mickey's quite happy at the club. He likes Roberto De Zerbi. Bit of redemption for him at the end of the season as well. Thought he handled the captaincy pretty well. Really well, actually, and has become a real leader. So I think he'll be staying. It's the likes of Dragushin, I would imagine, probably leave this summer, but there's got to be outgoings to make way for these new centre-backs. Van Hecke, Senesi, you'd think two have got to go. Personally, I want to keep hold of Kevin Danso. I think he's a great player, really important again to us towards the end of the season. So let's see how that one goes when they get Van Hecke in. But it is nice to see Spurs trying to get players in and then move players on. Always in the past, you seem to see this pattern with Spurs where they say they need to sell before they buy. It looks like they're going to sort of front load this transfer window with signings in and then worry about getting them out afterwards. Can be a bit dangerous, of course, but it's the right way to do it, I believe. Summerville, Crescencio Summerville there at West Ham. I'm a really big fan of this player. I watched him a lot when he played for Leeds. He's had some cracking games for West Ham. Kind of dropped off towards the end of the season as well. For me, we were talking again on the show on Thursday about Summerville and Savinho, to be honest. Who would you want, really? Personally, out of the two, I would take Summerville over Savinho. That might be contentious, but I just think I would say the ceiling of both players is about the same. I just seen more from Summerville. I've generally seen more from Summerville. Yes, Savinho hasn't had as much game time, and he is a very good player, but I'm just, Mathys Tell's numbers were better than Savinho, and you could say Savinho didn't get as many chances as Tell. I get that, but it's probably not much in it in reality. So out of the two, Savinho or Summerville, personally, I'd like to see Summerville, but I wouldn't. I think at the right price anyway, if we do go for Savinho, and it's not my money, I get that, but we're taking funds away from spending in other areas of the squad. If we're paying 60, 70 million for Savinho, I would question that. But Summerville, who knows what his transfer fee would be. But again, get down in the comments, let me know your thoughts on Summerville. And finally, Jonathan David, I threw this one in, just the one report on this, but it just goes to show, if this is true, that Spurs seem to be this season going back in a lot for players that they've courted in the past. You know, the likes of Savinho and Jonathan David has also been linked with Spurs, multiple transfer windows. I think he's a good player. Obviously would be new to the Premier League, Canadian international, really good numbers this season. But again, it's that risk of players coming to the Premier League and having not played in it. It's a very, very different league to obviously Italy and Serie A. So I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Again, I think it all comes down to the money, but what I would ultimately say is we need attacking reinforcements. We need another number 9. Is Richarlison going to leave, for example, this summer? I think he's got a year left on his contract. Wouldn't be surprised if Richarlison moves on. Rumours that Everton would take him back, so that obviously opens up a position in the number 9 position. If you keep in Solanke, you want definitely two strikers up there pushing for that position. So would Jonathan David be the answer? Get down in the comments and let me know. I'm just not sure myself on that one. That's all from me today. As I say, get down in the comments, let me know your thoughts as a Tottenham Hotspur fan right now, and indeed on all those stories today. And as always, come on you Spurs.